Welcome, Jim, and thanks for joining me on the Legends of Recruiting conversation. After spending 25 years in recruiting, I've been doing this. I like to have authentic and interesting conversations with my recruiting leader friends about the industry, talk shop, where things are going. And I've had a front row seat and I've to recruiting over the last 25 years, and I found the what's typically missing is the art of recruiting,
Mm,
the storytelling, the candid experience, how to sell it, as much as the tech and
sure.
typical interviews. So I might emphasize a little bit more on that today. But I'm excited to have Jim Hedington join us today to get your perspective and stories as a true recruiting legend. You've seen world-class recruiting back in the Danaher early days and Starbucks and Nordstrom today. And so just really excited to have you join us and welcome, Jim.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So to kick us off, why don't you give us a quick walkthrough of your story? Like, how'd you fall into recruiting and
Sure.
kind of give me the journey to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it all starts back um, in my teens to even into my 20s and a passion for helping others. And so I did a lot of volunteer work, working anywhere with elderly individuals to LGBTQ um, to a running club. The list goes on and on. So I worked at a company called Danaher Corporation, and I worked in operations there. And so that was kind of on the floor operations, circuit boards, all of that kind of stuff. Well, at the same time, while I was doing that, I was going back to school to get my degree and my AA degree at the time. With that, I applied for an employment assistant at Danaher. And I have to tell you that you had to take a typing test for this. Let's just say I made a good impression on the hiring manager, but I did horrible on the typing test. I'm pretty good at typing now, but she hired me into this employment assistant role. So did that for a few years at Danaher, and then moved into a recruiter role, into various roles within recruiting, and kind of got the bug to try HR management as well. So I manage facilities across Utah, California, and also uh, Utah, California, and then also in the Illinois area as well. And so had a really, really great time doing that. Uh, and then I kind of towards the end of my career at Danaher, I ended up hiring the first executive, at least that I ever hired. So a VP of sales for a facility.
Hmm.
At the same time, a friend who went to Starbucks called me and said, "You want to come work for me?" So from there, I transitioned to Starbucks. It was a senior recruiter for finance. Got to work on some really cool roles like
Hmm.
pilots for our airplanes and things like that because it rolled into the finance organization.
Hmm.
And in about a year in that role, I was tapped on the shoulder with a colleague to help build out an internal executive recruiting team. They hired a director that brought deep experience. He hired us into the role, and the rest was history. So, worked at Starbucks for about 13 and a half years,
Hmm.
several roles within executive recruiting, not only for just the US, but for Canada, Latin America, EMEA, China, Japan. Got to work on all these roles in different hours of the day, which was really, really cool. And at the same time, by working at Starbucks, I got to know the founder really well and worked really
Hmm.
closely with him.
All right. So
And so
what's your
it's just
favorite Howard Schultz story? I want to.
my favorite Howard Schultz story is who I think is just an amazing individual is um, my favorite Howard Schultz story is probably at one of our shareholder meetings that we had when he had, I think it was Oprah on the stage with him. And I was several years in role, but just really seeing two amazing, iconic individuals on stage and made me proud for the company I worked for. And there's a list, there's many stories, but that's one that stands out in particular. But he was great and personally helped change my life. dramatically. So was there for years there at Starbucks and started networking. And the great thing is a lot of individuals that worked at Starbucks had gone on to be CHROs at other companies and talked to an individual at Nordstrom,
Mhm.
which told me they were building out an internal team. It would be a team of one. And from there, I came on board and I was a team of one. So they said the first week that you're meeting with two of the hiring managers. We've been waiting for you. So I prepared some things and went into those meetings. And I've almost been there about 5 years. Went in as a team of one, now have a team of three total. Brought in individuals that bring amazing experience from search firms like Russell Reynolds, Egon Zehnder, as well as Korn Ferry, which I didn't have. And now we manage all of our senior director and below. We're an inverted pyramid here and work really closely with our executive team. So it's been amazing.
What's an insight? Because we all know Nordstrom as customers, but working at headquarters, and what's maybe a perception about Nordstrom that maybe you didn't expect working in-house?
Well, I have to say that I definitely have always been a rack shopper my life, and so I knew that was ingrained in me. But there's a whole concept at Nordstrom around leaving it better than you find it, and which I think is amazing. So a lot of individuals that are here that come or even move on out of the organization are doing amazing work that's impacting people, helping the organization to move it forward, and leaving it better than you found it. So.
Mhm.
The values, the are part of who I am. You know, it's all about leading, developing, motivating your teams, empowering them to be
Mhm.
successful, and that's really what has meant the most to me.
And you recently went private, is that right?
Yep,
Yeah.
recently went private in the last few weeks, so excited about that journey as well.
Nice. Public companies can be a grind sometimes, so it's nice to have a little more longer term thinking and such a great legacy story and family business, just
Yeah, it's
culture
a
there. It's
great
awesome.
story, and I'm glad 124-year-old company, and I've been here almost 5 years. So it was definitely, I thought I hit the pinnacle of my career at Starbucks and then landed in my dream job here at Nordstrom.
That's right. So, would you say recruiting's changed over the years, Jim? Like you saw, like in the early days of Starbucks and through now, like what are some key changes or trends that you've seen?
Well, I definitely think that recruiting has been on a transformational journey for years now, and are moving to more data-driven and technology-focused solutions. I remember, as we all do, that I've been in recruiting for 20 years now, and uh, I just remember the times before LinkedIn was around, or things like that as well, and how you would reach out and engage with candidates and job postings. But technology has really enabled us to do so many amazing things. And I think using data to really drive hiring decisions and finding the right candidates has helped us as well. And I can tell you that I'm thrilled about things like AI ahead of us. I use it a lot to summarize things for myself.
Mhm.
And I think technology is only going to continue to make us better.
It's good. Well, how are you using AI today and where's AI going?
Well, I definitely think it's in the early stages for a lot of companies, um, and I think that from an AI perspective, um, I have to say I don't I don't know where it's going to be going in the executive recruiting space. I would love your point of view on that as well, but from I do know that it's going to continue to help us to um, make sure that we're giving the right experience to our customers, to
Hmm.
our candidates as well. And I'm excited to be part of that journey to shape that out.
Yeah. So if you could do a gym recruiting bot that had all your jokes and personality and approach, you could screen everyone with that on the front end, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Exactly. I mean, the AI is going to help you to personalize the candidate journey as well. And I think that's going to be a really, really big thing. And so And I know that it's going to focus on making it a more streamlined, a more curated process for the candidates as well. I'm so excited about it.
So you've seen a lot of recruiters over the years. What separates the really great recruiters versus the average ones?
Well, I was going to say I've been fortunate to work with a lot of amazing recruiters throughout my career. I feel what really continues to set people apart is just the ability to build relationships, to get to know your business really well, to be able to partner closely with them. I can tell you with hiring managers that I work with throughout my career, um, I'm connected at the hip with them, with my HR business partner, which is so
Mhm.
critical to really driving success within the company. So I think it's doing what you say you're going to do, right?
Mhm.
And following up and really understanding what's going to work best for that leader. And most importantly, what's going to work best to find the right person to bring into the organization.
I think one thing you do a really great job of is you speak business first and recruiting second. You can really talk about why the business is doing certain strategy or where they're going or the challenges. And I think when hiring managers can view us as a fellow business strategist on the same side of the table, I think
Yeah.
that's when you really win the battle versus just some keyword search recruiting where
When
you,
you say talk business, it reminds me of, and where I really light up is when I speak to candidates, I always talk to them about Nordstrom and I
Mhm.
talk to them about, and I answer questions about the business and share more about that. And which really gets me excited and being, a steward for the company and making sure that candidates really understand more about not only the business and the way it operates, but the culture, the mission, the values to really make sure that um, the company that they go to is really going to be a good fit for them
Mhm.
and want everybody to be successful.
So I talk about lessons learned. I mean, we've done, gosh,
Sure.
maybe 1,000 searches with our firm over the last 25 years, and just means we've also learned a lot of lessons of things that don't work, mistakes along the way, which make us better now. But I guess what's a mistake lesson learned you made earlier in your recruiting career that maybe helped you today?
Well, I think I'm back to I think it was a mistake more broadly because I was a little more junior in my career, but I remember a colleague that I worked with that has since passed on. But I have to say, when I first started recruiting in the executive space, I mean, it was exciting, right? You're working on senior level roles for the organization. And I was probably a little more focused on me and myself and making sure that I get credit for things and things like that. I wanted to progress in the company. What I learned pretty quickly after a peer sat me down and said, you need to kind of change the way you're doing things there. This is about helping the company be successful.
Mm,
And I think it was just having my junior hat on as a recruiter.
mm,
And I tell you, that feedback really helped me to change the way I did things and supported the business in a different way. I mean, I instantly changed the way I operated after I got that feedback. And it's all about helping others. Recruiting is exciting. You get to change people's lives, and it's the best part of the role that I'm in.
I think that people can just smell when you're helpful and you're authentic
Yeah,
and you're not just trying to sell them on something. I think we hate being sold to. And I think if you can build that authentic trust and be real about the challenges or struggles about the role in the company, that's when
exactly.
they lean in and you can cash in those chips later when you have an offer to try to close them. But
Yeah.
so why do you love it, Jim? I mean, you've done this a long time. What keeps you in recruiting and keeps you inspired today?
I mean, it's pretty simple for me overall. And I shared this just a moment ago.
Mm,
It's about if you take a step back, it's about changing the lives of others and
mhm,
changing the trajectory of the company. Uh, I was gonna say that I still stay in touch with people today that
mhm,
I've hired into past companies, that started at one role, moved to
Mm,
others, have moved around the world as well. And really, it's pretty cool to think about the impact that you can make. I was at a company once, and I had a member of the executive team when we hit a certain market cap in that company. She texted me, which I wish I would have saved it, and said uh, that. You should really be proud of yourself because we wouldn't have got there if you didn't hire the leaders that would have got us here.
mm.
And so those are the kinds of things that when I think about it, we as recruiters, no matter what level, from executive to individual contributor, corporate, et cetera, we all play such a key role in helping the company.
It's like an extension of their success. Like maybe I didn't create that new engineering breakthrough, but I found the person that did, or I found the scientist that
Absolutely.
did cure cancer, or I didn't cure it, but I found the person who did, or there's some
Yeah,
connection with the success that you can sense of pride of playing a role in, which is pretty cool.
definitely. You become so proud of the people that you
Mhm.
bring into the company, and it's just great to see them grow and thrive in what they do.
So, like, what's a favorite interview question then? What's a Jim Hedington classic interview question you like to ask, and what are you looking for?
Well, I mean, might seem basic, and I really want to know why people want to work at the company I'm at.
Mhm.
That's my favorite question. I want to see people light up about wanting to work for the organization. Are they passionate about it? Do they know about the organization? Have they done their research
Mhm.
as well? Those are all things that I think are really important because companies really want passionate people that want to work for them and are going to come in and do their best. So, like I mentioned to you earlier, leaving it better than you found it.
Mhm.
And there's a real opportunity to do that. So, that's my favorite question. I think others may have some more interesting ones, but it's the one that I really feel um, tells you about the person and
Mhm.
their excitement for the role in the organization.
There's no reason with everything being online or AI tools, like in 5 minutes, you should give a lot of information pretty quickly on a company you should be able to find, but obviously more is about more. But
Yeah,
I think there's just a
absolutely.
basic effort. I found that too. You've done your research. I feel respected. Um, well, let's shift gears to storytelling.
Yeah.
So, like, what role does storytelling play in how you pitch Nordstrom and the culture? And maybe an example how that played out in a search or a role.
Yeah. Well, I mean, storytelling is also one of my favorite things. I think I always pitch the company. It's probably never the same every time I do it because there's new information that I get every single day, but about the company's mission, value, culture, what's going on in the business as well. Um, but I really think it's about connecting with people on an emotional level
Hmm.
and really being able to share more about my passion for the company that I work for and making sure that others can see that as well. I want to see them get excited about that as well. Because I can tell you that every company I've worked for, I've been thrilled about it. So I think storytelling is magic. I think I could tell multiple stories about, unconventional ways that I've helped to hire people into the company that
Yeah.
maybe, but we all have our unique stories as well. So I think storytelling is critical, not only from a candidate's perspective, but ours as well. Especially when you work for an amazing brand and an amazing company.
Hmm. Well, I think people may know what Nordstrom is like as a consumer brand or gone to the stores and bought a shirt, but they may not understand what it's like to work there or what the culture's like inside. And so I think there's probably a good pivot. Some things are similar, hopefully, but I think there's a
Yeah,
difference working inside the brand.
sure.
You hinted at unconventional strategies. What's maybe a creative win or a story where you used maybe a non-traditional approach to land someone?
Well, I think is my favorite story of all time. So I was recruiting a president of a business unit,
Hmm.
one that we were building out in a past role at another company, and we were we were at the finalist stage. The candidate came in, and the candidate was staying in the Pioneer Square area.
Hmm.
And apparently, on the previous trip the candidate went on, there was at one time there was a like an antique older toy store there.
Hmm.
Well, so this finalist had two daughters at home, and he brought the gifts home to them. Well, he found out quickly that because these were young individuals, that sometimes it's better to get the same gift versus a separate gift because sometimes the other wants the other gift. So this person came back and as a kind of final finalist, I would say, and said, "Hey, Jim, can we Uber down to Pioneer Square?" And I said, "Absolutely." So we ended up going to the same store, and they had kind of a cheaper, more updated, newer version of like a spirograph. And a spirograph is kind of like this. Um, if you look it up
Yeah.
online, you can make shapes and things like that as well.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, I don't know where I thought of this from, but the minute I got back to my desk, because we were getting ready to make an offer to this individual, and in fact we did, I ended up going on to eBay. I ended up getting into a bidding war with somebody over an original 1965 spirograph, um, still sealed in the box,
Hmm.
and I won it and I shipped it to his house.
Hmm.
And he called me and thanked me for that, and he accepted the job soon after that. So that was the most unique and unconventional way was to try to. But I think at the end of the day, it said one, I listened, one, I cared, and I thought it was pretty cool too to see him light up over the opportunity and came into the company and just did amazing for a number of years.
I love those personalized gifts. It doesn't need to be the money. It's like like you
Yeah.
said, you're listening and to what they're passionate about, and it could be a ski pass if they know they're into skiing, or the little sign bonuses I've seen or gift baskets can be full of unique things that fit them and their personality or conversations.
Yeah, I agree. We had another candidate going on a trip to Hawaii and ended up having something at their hotel waiting for them that said, "Here are all of our stores in town, and here's $100 gift card. Go
Hmm.
enjoy your trip." So just things like that. It's that personalized piece that goes
Hmm.
a long way and show you care.
I remember this one story when you were mentioning the spirograph. There was a VP engineering search we were working on, and when the offer went out, just I Amazoned that person a Lego set and just said, "Hey, help us design a
Oh,
new
nice.
future." And so they got these Legos, and everyone engineers love Legos. I mean, and
Yeah.
and the person said like they had five offers, and they thought, just there's a personality and sense of humor and playfulness to the process, and that's what they were looking for. And they actually took the job, even though other offers were higher. They felt it was a good personal connection. Like you said, you listened, and there's a connection
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
so candidate experience is something
Yeah.
that we hear a lot about, and Nordstrom is legendary and Starbucks for having great customer experience. So I guess why is the candidate experience important, and what's maybe something you've done at Nordstrom or Starbucks to help you stand out from the pack?
Well, I was going to say that having a positive candidate experience can lead to somebody more likely accepting a job offer. They we're stewards of the company, and they want and they deserve an experience that's worthy of the brand
Mhm.
that we're working for. So I think that is critical. And you want to make sure that you really stand out because you want these people to be customers for life, regardless of how things turn out. So making sure that you really have that high touch personal experience, whether they move to the offer and to the end, or if they're individuals that don't move forward in the process as well. That is critical to me, but it doesn't even end there. It involves hiring somebody and onboarding them and staying in touch with them. I just think about even doing that in the last month or two to say, how are you doing?
Hmm.
Um, uh, uh, is there anything that I can help with as well? And as a recruiter, are there any referrals from your past life that you can share as well, right? Always having that recruiter hat because one, they have a better understanding of the company, the culture now, and they may know of individuals that could come in and thrive. So I feel like that is really, really important. And you want to make sure that candidates really get that experience.
Well, recruiting is like a two-sided marketplace. You need to spend a
Yep,
lot of time thinking about the candidate, like how do we inspire and move them along and close them. But obviously, there's a hiring manager that, as a recruiter, you're also working with. And
sure.
so tell me about the art of working well with a hiring manager about getting that person aligned and on the same page to help close the person you want. Because sometimes I've found that that's a harder job as much as the candidate.
Yeah. I have to tell you that um, another part of my job that I really, really love is the partnerships with the hiring manager and the HR business partner as well. And so it's built on communication, trust, collaboration, transparency. So it's really the opportunity I found to be that subject matter expert. And even when we do kickoff meetings and going into those meetings, we're coming in, we're saying, here's our search strategy, here's some possible candidates. It's really aligning with that hiring manager, but they're really like, your stuff, you're in it. You're here to help us be successful as well. So I find that um, every hiring manager is different.
Hmm.
Sometimes the process from point A to point B um, can be a little bit of a swervy process, but it's all around how do we get to the right end goal here and
Hmm.
making sure that we hire the right person. And at the same time, we want a good experience. So I think as
Hmm.
part of that, when you get done with searches, it's talking to hiring managers and saying, what went well? Where is there opportunity is in the future? So it's about continuous improvement. So that's been my experience, and uh, and that's not only in my current role and past role, supporting roles in China, and just really understanding. I remember sitting in my car on a Saturday morning and talking to the president of one of our China business units and about a search and things like that. And it was really that person appreciated just being available on a weekend and being able
Hmm.
to connect with them as well. I mean, we've come a long ways where it's not just phones, it's Teams and Zoom, and you have your phone, and you can stay in touch 24/7. But they really appreciate that. And I know as a recruiter, I appreciate that as well.
So let's say a search has gone sideways a little bit. What's your reset button strategy with the hiring manager? Like, this isn't working. We're kind of both feeling frustrated. What have you learned has worked well to get things back on track?
Well, I've learned first and foremost that going into those meetings with data can really go a long way. Whether it is a lack of a candidate pool,
Hmm.
maybe it's people can't relocate to Seattle, which a lot of individuals just might not be open to relocation right now in a lot of uh, um, due to many circumstances as well. So I think going in with the data, but I think the data is just one piece. I think it's really making a recommendation on what you think. Your recommendation may not land all the time, and might not be where we go. But I think also it's about it. It really goes a long way as that subject matter expert to make that. And I know I've mentioned this more than once in this, and I'm not sure if you hear it often in these discussions, but I stay really close to my HR partner as well. And both of us work really closely to really make sure that we're helping the hiring manager to make the best decision. And sometimes that might be a search that's not going well, but there are reasons it's not going well, and we might need to
Hmm.
adjust because of that.
Yeah, sometimes we have to deliver the mail and speak truth. They may not want to hear that person costs
Right.
more, or relocation, or whatever the market conditions might be. But
Yeah, definitely. And I would, and the good thing is you don't run into those situations all the time, but they happen. And they've happened in my current role and current company as well. And I think they really appreciate it. And especially when you do your due diligence behind it,
Mhm.
it really shows you're all in.
I find a lot of times the conversations are, here's what you get for 150 and here's what you get for 250 on the candidates, or some range of a role, maybe too big of a range, but just there's different levels that sometimes they may want, or certain flavors that they're looking for. But
Yeah.
it is interesting.
And it's also being transparent with the candidates as well. So every company is structured differently, different comp programs. You want to
Hmm.
make sure up front you have a really good discussion with them around not only the opportunity, the company, but also what it means to come here and the role from a comp perspective, growth opportunities. So so they can make an informed decision if they think it's the right for the fit for them.
I think what keeps me going over the years is just being intellectually curious about different companies and roles and the challenges
Yep,
they have, and also like a puzzle to solve, like, oh, this is a new puzzle, or this is challenging. So I kind of like that competitive curiosity, how to fix a different puzzle or make it the right fit.
agreed. I was going to say I also pull in my comp partners from compensation early on as well because especially if you see trends and things like that as well, they need to know that, especially inside a corporation,
Hmm.
because to share them, at least this is what the market is bearing.
Hmm. So culture fit, it's a term you always hear.
Yep.
This person's a culture fit, they're not a culture fit, which might be a professional way to say I just didn't like them. So how have you found what culture fit really means, and how do you screen for it?
Yeah, I have to say that everybody operates a little differently. I don't focus as much on culture fit because I think that's tough. But I really want to make sure, and I shared this earlier, that I want to make sure that a person understands our company values, our mission, the company. I happen to work in a 124-year-old company right now that is ready to turn 125, and and I was going to say also too, we really need to make sure to be stewards of the company because we're not only interviewing these people, they're interviewing us. And I have to
Mhm.
tell you right now, in some roles, it might be a pretty open job market with lots of candidates in, but I can tell you in the executive space, it continues to be a tight job market, and you really have to differentiate yourself from that. So I think as part of it, it is making sure that not only myself, making sure that they understand what our company is about, but also all the people as they go through our interview loops as well, and making sure that they think they could be a good addition to the organization.
Hmm. So being authentic is something that I found candidates like seeing in companies, and
Yeah.
you're the face of the company to them. So how do you keep the recruiting process authentic while not feeling overly scripted? It's easy to get overly scripted with so many roles, and you're going back through the same flow again. So how do you keep it real?
Well, I think I talking about my pitch earlier, because I'm learning new things every single day, it changes
Mhm.
constantly. So I think a little bit around when I get executive level candidates in a room before they start their interview days for on-site interviews, I always draw out the organization. I put the leaders. I talk about their backgrounds. It's always a little different. I dive deeper into maybe some of the more complex parts of the company as well, so they understand that and how all the dots are connected to one another. So I don't want to make it overly scripted, uh, but it definitely shows the passion for the company and
Mhm.
stuff like that as well. So not only from a first call to a candidate, and but also on-site interviews as well. So it's all part of the candidate experience. And could be a start of an amazing career for them. And like I
Mhm.
said earlier, we're here to change lives.
Mhm.
And I think part of that is being our authentic self, like you mentioned,
Mhm.
and being really individuals that could really portray what it's like to work at the company.
So maybe someone's watching this and they're three to
Yeah.
5 years into HR role and they got inspired to be an executive recruiter. Like, what advice would you give someone about here's how you level up to the executive search level game and what you look for?
Well, I was going to say I never thought I'd get into executive recruiting, and I mentioned hired a executive at the first company I worked for, and then I didn't think about it when I went to Starbucks as well. But uh, I would say that um, if you're interested in an opportunity like this, first, reach out in your network and get to know some executive recruiters. So I network with my peers all the time before I moved into this opportunity and after. Some companies are doing some amazing things. Some might not be as far along and really need that partnership and that help to help them to be successful. I think it's not just about executive recruiting, but it's all about building relationships at the end of the day. So I talk to my team about there's opportunities for you to work on amazing high visibility projects. You never know what doors can open because of it.
Mhm.
I didn't think I was going to be tapped on the shoulder a year into role at Starbucks and said, "You want to help build out this team?"
Mhm.
And thinking back to my employment assistant days, I failed at the typing test, right? So I tell you that because it's important that you just keep moving forward, keep trying to be better, get feedback, and not all feedback may feel great, but it helps you to grow if given in the right way and be better.
That's great. Well, in closing, we talked about a lot of interesting topics and stories. Thank you. It's been really great.
Sure.
Any closing thoughts about the importance of art of recruiting today and in the future?
Uh, well, I think as recruiters, as I mentioned earlier, we have the best jobs. And I know you and I've talked about this as well, is one, especially in the executive recruiting space that we're in, is we get to work on so many cool jobs. We get to work broadly across the company. And it's and because of that, you get to continue to build your business acumen and continue to be able to speak more broadly about the company. And to tell you, the deeper you get into the company, it's pretty exciting stuff. And I have to say that the different personalities, the different people that you work with, the relationships that you build. So I feel like when you think of the art of recruiting, it's simple. It's building relationships. It's doing what you say you're going to do.
Hmm.
It's bringing amazing talent into the company and helping them. And most importantly, I think it's changing lives of others and changing the direction of the company.
Great stuff. Jim, thank you so much for your time. And
Yeah, thank you.
I'll think of you next time I buy a shirt at Nordstrom that you're working hard to make the
Yeah,
whole engine work. So thank you for that and enjoy the summer coming up.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Cheers.